Hi, I'm josephrlewis and I write adventures. And in today's video, I'd like to talk about puzzles. What are puzzles? How do we work them into our adventures? How do we present them to our players? Let's dive into puzzles. So, to define a puzzle, as I'm working with it, a puzzle is something for the players to solve, not the PCs. This is an opportunity for the players to demonstrate how clever they are. And it's something that they can solve by asking clever questions and then thinking critically and creatively. A puzzle should not be something that can be solved by rolling dice. For example, a puzzle should not be you see a complex device in your path, make a DC 18 intelligence check to make it go away. No, that's boring. That's not something that has challenged the player, and that's what we want to do with a puzzle. So first off, where do we put puzzles? What is their function in an adventure? And basically, they're a type of obstacle, and I think you should be deploying them in one of two ways. One is that they should be on the adventure path. So an obstacle is something that the players must overcome in either to proceed to the next area or to obtain an object that they need in order to solve some other issue. It's essentially a type of locked door on the adventure path. And the second type of use of a puzzle is an obstacle that the players can choose to engage with. It's off the adventure path, it's to the side, but they choose to engage with it because it will give them some ancillary reward. Something like modifying the game space in an interesting or fun way that amuses them or is helpful to their personal goals, such as if someone is very engaged in trying to green the desert or something, and there's a special lever that they can find and activate that floods the desert and makes things green. It has nothing to do with the adventure itself, but it's something that the player can engage with, and it delights them and amuses them, and it has that benefit just on its surface, just for the engagement of it. And the other thing that that sort of side puzzle can do is it can help reveal lore and information about the world or the adventure itself, which gives them a richer understanding of what's going on and why it's going on. For instance, if solving the puzzle can somehow bring together a mosaic on the wall and that reveals the history of this place in greater detail, that may not be critical to completing the adventure, but it may enrich the experience for them. So that's another nice use for puzzles. I like to use between 0 and 1 puzzles in most of my adventures. I think they're fun and interesting, but I think they can also be a little time consuming. And for some people, for some players, I know they can be frustrating or uninteresting. So usually in a standard adventure, I have 0 or 1 puzzles. At the opposite end of the spectrum, though, you can have a puzzle dungeon where the whole point is almost every room is some kind of puzzle. And the GM and the players have chosen to play this adventure because they like puzzles. So I encourage you to go one of those paths, or minimal puzzles or maximal puzzles. So how do we design and present a puzzle in an adventure? Number one, whatever this thing is, it needs to be obvious that it is a puzzle, that it's something for the players to do. And it can be an object, a room, a creature. But in some way, the players should be able to look and say, oh, this is an interesting space or an interesting thing for us to interact with. If it blends into the background, if it seems like we've seen 10 of these things before, and there's no reason to think the 11th empty room or the 11th NPC is the puzzle giver or the puzzle to interact with, then it's not going to work. It doesn't work if the players don't know it's there. Number two, a good puzzle needs to have features that the players can interact with. Something on the level of buttons, levers, jigsaw pieces, a selection of magic wands or orbs, magical or musical instruments, things that the players can interact with and that they can start using to solve the puzzle. If there's nothing for them to clearly do, then again, they don't know that this is a puzzle to interact with. So having multiple things to interact with is important. Number three, your puzzle needs to react to whatever it is the players are doing. So when they start pushing buttons and pulling levers, this puzzle needs to respond in some way. There needs to be flashing lights. There needs to be sounds. Panels need to be moving. Lights are coming on and off. Water pours through. Water stops pouring through. Water drains. Whatever it is, the players need to see if I do something, it creates an effect. So they can begin manipulating all of your levers that you're giving them to create different effects, hopefully to move towards solving the puzzle and creating the effect that you intend and that they want to move forward with the adventure. And fourthly, your puzzle can have either one result or many results. And when I say result, I'm sort of just talking about the end state of whatever happens when you manipulate or interact with the puzzle. So, for instance, if it has many buttons and you push them in the right sequence, it opens the one door, and now the players can continue with the adventure and move forward. So that would be a single state solution to a puzzle. Alternatively, you can have a puzzle that has many states, where if you manipulate the levers in one way, it opens this door, and if you change them to a different configuration, it opens this door. Or again, it fills the room with water, or it drains the room with water. It unleashes the monsters over in this cage, or it leashes the monsters in that cage, whatever it may be, so that players can manipulate their environment in whatever way they want, so they can create the state that they want, so they can pursue the goals that they have. I have a couple examples of puzzles that I've created. This first one is very simple. This is from Imperial Vault 19 and Other Dark Places. It's a small collection of small tombs, little adventures, one-shots. And this first example is the entrance to a vampire tomb. And it starts off with a very clearly marked door, and around the door there is wording that clearly says, "The sanguine are always welcome to visit the Baron." And there's a fanged mouth carved into the door. And the solution is just that you put your hand in and you cut your hand on these fangs and you bleed into the mouth a little bit, and that opens the door to the vampire's tomb. So a single state that allows you to proceed with the adventure. Pretty straightforward. And the second example here is from a different adventure inside that same collection, Imperial Vault 19. And in this, we are deep in the tomb of a Tin Templar, a mechanical warrior. And there's a room full of magnets, and there are 3 levers. So it's obvious that there's something to interact with. And depending on how the players manipulate the levers, it changes whether the magnets pull all of the iron objects in the room up, or down, or left, or right. And there's 3 levers and 4 effects, so they have to figure out the configurations. But once they figure that out, they can use that to access the Templar's tomb, his coffin. They can also use it to manipulate or affect anyone else in the room who is holding metal objects, which can affect themselves, it can affect their enemies, so it can change the state of the room for combat. There are many possible outcomes, so it's a way that they can have multiple results that allows them to affect the space. So to recap, puzzles are obstacles that the players can solve, the players, not the PCs. The puzzle needs to be obvious, so the players know it's there and can start working on it. A puzzle needs to have features that the players can clearly interact with in some way. Those features need to respond to the player's interaction so they can learn how the thing works and work their way towards an end state. And the puzzle itself can have either one definitive end state or multiple end states that the players can control as they wish. And I think that's about all of my advice for designing a puzzle for your adventure. So good luck out there.